The one question on everybody's mind this morning is, what did JD think of SummerSlam? You know, I know I have a lot of people expecting me to shit on SummerSlam. I have a lot of people just waiting for me to just bash every aspect of this show. And I am going to be brutally honest with you, man. You guys know how I do here. You guys know exactly what I do. If something is bad, I will let you know exactly how bad it is and why. And give you a laundry list of reasons as to why I think it's bad and how WWE needs to correct it. When it's good, I will let you know when it's good. But with the main roster, good doesn't always come across our screens. I have to give WWE credit last night. I really have to give them credit. Everything from the match order. I might have switched one or two things around, but as far as the match order goes, I think WWE nailed it. I think as far as risking damage to some of these storylines / programs and characters, I think WWE did a great job with some of these matches, and they executed exactly what needed to be done in some of these matches. Balor Corbin, Alexa, and Ronda Rousey. WWE did exactly what they needed to do with these matches. And for me to come on here and bash the show, I can't do that. Because I have to find some good in this. I don't want to sit here and bash WWE because it wasn't a bad show. And the decisions that they made last night, when it comes down to it, when it boils down to it, they made the right decisions. Even with Roman Reigns, they finally pulled the trigger on Roman Reigns. The nightmare is over. The nightmare is over. Thank God. We all knew. Amongst all of the bitching and complaining and moaning, it's over. We all knew this was going to go the way that WWE wanted it. And with Roman Reigns winning the title, the nightmare is over. I can't even sit here and shit on it, because it would be wrong of me to do so. Yeah, we could laugh. Yeah, we could laugh. It's garbage. Clearly 4 years of the same shit. I don't want to repeat myself. But what WWE did last night for SummerSlam, it is very difficult for anyone to sit here and say that they did not do a good job. It wasn't a great show. It wasn't even close to what TakeOver was on Saturday night. Nothing the main roster does even comes close to NXT. But WWE did exactly what they needed to do last night. And if you don't agree with me, I really don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if you don't agree with me. Oh, JD is softening his stance on WWE. No. I watch, I gather news and information, I take notes. I watched this show twice. And I come here and I tell you exactly what I see. I've been doing this wrestling thing for 30 years. And when I see something that's bad, you guys know I will call them out on it. But it's very difficult to sit here and say SummerSlam was a bad show. If I'm going to gauge, and there's no in-between here, if it's a thumbs down and a thumbs up option, I'm giving it a thumbs up. That doesn't mean I sit here and say it was the greatest SummerSlam of all time. It wasn't even the best pay-per-view of the year. But what WWE did last night, they executed in certain situations exactly what needed to be done. And I can't fault them for that. I cannot shit on them for that. That's my feel towards SummerSlam. Is it still SummerSlam? Absolutely. This did not feel like a fucking SummerSlam last night. Not with that crowd. Not with the pacing of these matches. The overall feel in the air. In the atmosphere, it did not feel like SummerSlam. But was it a bad show? WWE did everything that they needed to do. We got some damn good matches out of it. Can't sit here and tell you it was a bad show. I'd be lying to you. I'd be lying to myself. I wouldn't be doing my job as a truthful podcaster in this community if I just came on here and shit on the show. Can't do it. We're going to go over everything, exactly how I feel about these certain situations, what was good and what was bad. Where do we go from here? This is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. I'm here to make sense of it for you. If you don't like the opinion, maybe I change your opinion by the end of this hour. Simple as that. And if you still stand on where you stand, then so be it. But I know what I watched last night. It was a decent wrestling show that did exactly what they needed to do. Simple. I want to start off, these pre-shows are an absolute waste of everybody's fucking time. Seriously, I don't even know why they have a pre-show. I mean, look at the talent that you left off this fucking show. Was it really necessary to throw these 3 matches on the show and nobody give a shit about them? I didn't. Watching the pre-show actually made me more angry. Watching these matches in front of half-empty arenas is not exactly what I want to see with Rusev and Almas. That shit pisses me off. WWE did their best to disguise this shit with the dim lighting and the dark crowd. No light on the crowd, really. But to have Rusev and Almas wrestling in front of 50% capacity in the Barclays Center. Meanwhile, the guy is a fucking 5-star maker for WWE this year. And this is the best that you have for Andrade, Cien Almas, and Rusev. And then they didn't even give me the fucking ending that I thought we were going to get. Now, I have no problem with Almas and Vega winning. And WWE will probably do this match again on SmackDown Live so that we get Rusev and Lana getting their victory back. Because Aiden English wasn't here tonight, but these matches were a complete waste of everybody's fucking time. The B Team and the Revival for the Tag Team Championships. The Tag Team Championships could not be any lower than they are right now on Monday Night Raw. They are in a pit of despair, are the Raw Tag Team titles. Having them on the pre-show and not presenting them in a more important manner, you ain't helping the cause. And you certainly ain't helping the cause for those tag team titles by keeping them on to losers like Axel and Bo Dallas. If there's a title change that needs to happen, and if it does happen, I don't even know if it's going to fucking work or people are going to care. These tag team titles need to be taken off the B team. I don't give a shit who they go to. This division is awful. This pre-show was awful. Nobody cared. The pre-show was supposed to get you excited about the show. Just give me the 1-hour pre-show with the video packages, Renee Young, Booker T, Jerry Lawler, that fucking Brillo head, Sam Roberts, whoever you got there. Watching these matches, I feel like is a fucking chore. And it doesn't do anything to get you excited at all. Rusev and Lana versus Andrade, Cien Almas, and Zelina Vega. I honestly didn't care. I honestly did not care. I wanted to care. You could have made me care by positioning this better on the show, but WWE didn't do that. So Vega and Lana are in the ring. And I always have a very enjoyable time watching Vega anywhere. But Vega and Lana were in the ring. And Almas gets onto the ring apron, and he tries to distract Lana. Rusev pulls Almas off, and Almas drops him and shoves him into the barricade. So Lana catches a kick and drops Vega on her face in the middle of the ring. So Almas again tries to get back on the apron and distract Lana again. Vega takes advantage of this distraction, rolls Lana up for the win, and she tried to get the cheap pinfall by putting her feet on the ropes. Now, I don't know if they were positioned miscorrectly and they weren't where they needed to be, but Vega looked like she tried to reach for the ropes and she couldn't do it on the last the last attempt she got, she couldn't do it because I guess she's too small. And from wherever she was pinning Lana in the ring, she was just so small she couldn't reach the ropes. Barely got the ropes. And at that point, I don't even think it really mattered. But she got the pinfall with the feet on the ropes for leverage and pinned Lana. Vega beats Lana again. And Almas and Vega win again over Rusev and Lana. That was it. Now, I don't know where this goes from here. I'm happy. I should not be complaining. I mean, Vega and Lana, they had 2 matches on SmackDown Live, and they both went in Vega's favor. They both went in Almas' favor. I expected Lana and Rusev to win here. But instead, Almas and Vega got another win, which makes me worried that WWE is going to do this match again on SmackDown Live, and we're going to get the same match again, only with Aiden English involved, and that's when the breakup will officially be completed. But, it's very difficult to sit here and complain when Andrade and Zelina won a match, but I just wish it was under better circumstances instead of a fucking half-empty arena. Whatever. Vega and Andrade seeing Almas win over Rusev and Lana Day. Cruiserweight Championship match, Drew Gulak versus Cedric Alexander doesn't really speak to me as SummerSlam worthy. If you wanted, I was saying that, why didn't they do Lio Rush versus Cedric Alexander for the Cruiserweight Championship? I think this is what they were pretty much setting him up for. Bringing him up to the main roster and putting him on 205 Live, and let's get that SummerSlam match. Lio Rush versus Cedric Alexander. Again, in front of half-empty arena. Nobody gives a shit about Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak may be an entertaining character on 205 Live, but when you put Gulak and Cedric Alexander on the pre-show, it's very difficult to me to care about 205 Live. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And I don't think this was a bad match. It's just that there's no reason for me to care. It's amazing how you take 205 Live and what they're doing on Tuesday nights. It's rivaling NXT, according to everybody that you speak to. 205 Live is just as good as NXT, but when the cruiserweights are mingling and get mixed in with the main roster shit, they are always brought down several pegs, and they aren't displayed like they are on 205 Live. This just felt boring. This just felt fucking boring. Now, I don't know if Gulak and Alexander is your thing. Certainly not my thing. I was never a big fan of Drew Gulak, no matter how funny he is with the PowerPoint presentation and the way he comes off. I just don't find him entertaining. Some guys have it, some guys don't. In my opinion, Drew Gulak doesn't have it. But I'm looking back on it, and what we seen last night in front of a half-empty arena, I'm glad they didn't do Lio Rush. Why would you put Lio Rush and Cedric Alexander, which to me is a money match, in front of that crowd? I wouldn't even have the Cruiserweight Championship on this show, period, if this was the way you were going to go about it. This was not entertaining to me. Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak trade pin attempts. Pin attempt after pin attempt. More back and forth. Near falls between the two. Gulak drops him into an ankle lock. And then we see more back and forth. Near fall after near fall. After the final attempt, Cedric Alexander comes out of the pin attempt and rolls Gulak up for the pin. Cedric Alexander, the right winner here. I'm not going to give the title to fucking Drew Gulak. Your money match is Lio Rush versus Cedric Alexander. And I still stand by what I stated about 205 Live. If WWE fucking... I don't want anybody in Vince McMahon's camp touching these guys. But it's just amazing to me how once they get mingled in with the main roster, they're brought down several pegs from where they are on 205 Live in Triple H's hands. It's disgusting. I still stand by what I say. Take 205 Live off of Tuesday nights. If you're going to do it, tape it before SmackDown Live. You can still call it 205 Live because we be seeing it at home instead of the way that they're doing it now where they film it after the show and it's half dead in front of a half-empty arena. Nobody gives a shit. Yet they're putting on 5-star matches. You could go back and watch 205 Live all year. And you could probably pick out 4 or 5 matches from the year of 205 Live, and they would probably be in your top 10 best matches in WWE all year. And this is what the showcase is on SummerSlam. Drew Gulak and Cedric Alexander on the fucking pre-show. You know, I think the work that Mustafa Ali and Buddy Murphy and Hideo Itami and everybody else that's busted their fucking ass to get 205 Live where it needs to be, or at least on the road to where it needs to be, and this is the fucking shit that you're giving them? Come on, man. It is another brand. It needs to be on par with what you're doing there on Tuesday. It needs to be the same thing here. I didn't get any feel from this match whatsoever, or even care from the WWE for 205 Live here, like we see on Tuesday. This match could have waited till Tuesday. Waste of time. This pre-show was a waste of fucking time. The tag team titles are a waste of fucking time. The B team is terrible. Their theme music is god-awful. God-awful. I don't know whether I'm watching a fucking teen comedy in the 90s with this fucking theme song, or WWE really wanted to show you exactly what everybody feels about the B team. They're a joke. The B team is a joke. And don't get me wrong, I've been a huge advocate for Curtis Axel. But if this is the best you have for Curtis Axel right now, a comedy-based team, this is like Santino Marella for the 2018 Tag Team Division. This is like Santino Marella walking around with the Intercontinental Championship, doing his fucking Cobra. This is awful. And for someone who just watched Undisputed Era and Mustache Mountain again, to see tag team matches like this on the main roster is absolutely sickening. It is fucking sickening. And then on top of that, you got guys in Dash and Dawson who are probably two of the most talented guys that you have as far as tag teams go, and they're losing clean to the B team. These fluky victories need to come to an end. And I thought this was going to go my way. I thought this was actually going to go my way. The Revival starts the match off with a shatter machine. If one match needed to end in squash fashion, this would have been the perfect match to do so. No, but what do we get here? We get another fluky victory with the B team retaining the tag team championships. So we get Dash drops Dallas neck first over the top rope. So Dallas bumps back into Axel and Dawson, who I guess were being pinned, or there was a pinning combination happening there. So that forces Axel to turn the roll-up over in his favor for the win. These fluky victories. Again. But this time against the Revival. Let me see them do that with AOP. You already took out the shovel and started shoveling the dirt on AOP. That's all we need to see now. So that they beat Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. They beat the Revival. They beat everybody in the tag team division. Who's next? Who's next to get a fluky victory and retain the tag team championships? Come on, man. I told you how to fix the tag team division, and this certainly is not helping the cause right now. They continue to dig themselves lower and lower and lower with the tag team titles on Monday Night Raw. This was a big topic of discussion yesterday with a lot of people. You know how you fix the tag team division? You take the fucking titles and you merge them into one, and you fuse the divisions together. You have them both on Raw and SmackDown. You do the same thing with the fucking women's title. Raw and SmackDown. All you need is one. That's how you fix this dead division, or these dead divisions. Tired of seeing this fucking shit with the B team. Fuck out of here, man. That's your pre-show. A complete waste of fucking time. Moving on to the main event, man. The main card. SummerSlam, finally. After 2 hours of garbage, we were all expecting SummerSlam to be horrific. god-awful, and any other term that you want to take from me that I usually use to describe WWE. WWE started the show with the Intercontinental Championship match. Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship. One side note here. You know, I love that WWE likes to open the shows hot. I love that WWE starts the show with an Intercontinental Championship match, but not every show. You know, switch it up a little bit. You know, it seems like WWE's getting into this comfort zone by having the Intercontinental Championship open the show. And I understand. I know it's a proven fact. It's more important, or just as important, how you start the show compared to how you close the show. I agree with you 1,000%. But there are other matches on this show that could have benefited from opening SummerSlam. And it makes me think, and this is why I say sidebar here when talking about the Rollins-Ziggler match. The one thing that I did mention in the beginning is WWE got the match order very good on SummerSlam night. They did a good job at lining up the match order, in my honest opinion. But if you go back and watch that show again and you see what happened with Daniel Bryan and The Miz in their match and how dead the crowd was, even though they told a great story, even though the ending was exactly what we needed it to be, the crowd was dead for the majority of that match, and I don't know why. Now, if you look back on it, how do you think the crowd would have been if you put Bryan and Miz on first and then just traded Rollins and Ziggler and put them on where Daniel Bryan and The Miz were? I honestly think that with Ambrose coming back, it wouldn't really have been as Bryan and Miz were. I don't think the crowd would have been dead if you put this match on in that spot. I just feel for Bryan and Miz for the simple fact that the crowd was dead for the majority of their match, and those guys didn't deserve it. That storyline, that feud doesn't deserve that type of silence. It was like they were in a fucking library last night. But that's just a little sidebar there. Those are the things that I think about now looking back on it. But it is what it is. This Intercontinental Championship match, listen, you know, it doesn't measure up with what we've seen with these two guys. You know, they did not even come close to what they did on Monday Night Raw just a couple of months ago. They did not. They actually corrected themselves from the terrible Iron Man match that they had, but I would not say this was anywhere close to being as great as what they did on Monday Night Raw, when they went 25 minutes in the fucking main event of Monday Night Raw. The main thing about this match was Dean Ambrose. The main thing about this entire match was Dean Ambrose. For two reasons. One, he's back and he looks great. And he's the equalizer to Drew McIntyre, who's in Dolph Ziggler's corner. Two, everybody's expecting Dean Ambrose to turn heel. And it did not happen last night. It should not have happened last night. But it's coming. I don't know when. I don't know how. But it's coming. And you can tell that it's coming because Dean Ambrose hasn't said one fucking word since he's been back. And Dean Ambrose's attitude and the way he carries himself, he is a pissed off motherfucker. It's coming. And there's a reason why he's walking around doing an Oscar the Grouch cosplay. Okay? All he needs is a fucking trash can to pop out of and some green fur. The guy's a fucking grumpy motherfucker. There's a reason why Ambrose is a grumpy motherfucker. And if WWE tells this story right, I would be very pleased. Ambrose is back to give Rollins a sense of security. And when he's most secure, he won the Intercontinental Championship, Rollins is feeling like he's on top of the fucking world. When he's most secure, that's when you take the dagger and you put it right in Rollins' heart. Why? You took 9 months of my life away from me, you son of a bitch. Now I'm going to take what's most important to you, the Intercontinental Championship. It is a simple story to tell. Do you do it on Raw tonight, or do you wait just a little bit longer? They're not going to wait till WrestleMania. They didn't wait for WrestleMania with Bryan and Miz. They're not going to do it with Ambrose and Rollins. If you're going to do the heel turn, let's do it tonight. You need a big moment on Monday Night Raw. Let's do it tonight. Ambrose was the biggest thing. He was the most focused on aspect of this entire match for the first 12 minutes. That was it. This match was incredibly slow to begin, and then they shifted into the next gear. And then they picked up the pace like I expect Rollins and Ziggler to do. There was a spot here where Rollins usually does the Falcon Arrow off that superplex off the top rope. This was actually done, but reversed. And it was absolutely a thing of beauty. You know, and I got a sense, I don't know if you guys felt the same way, I got a sense with the super kick and then the curb stomp at the end for the win. I got a sense of WWE trying to compete with what Ricochet and Adam Cole did at TakeOver with that spot. Because everybody from the weekend is talking about that fucking super kick coming off that acai moonsault in the ring by Ricochet and Adam Cole. Everybody's still talking about that shit. One of the best spots of the entire weekend. I think WWE tried to one-up Adam Cole and Ricochet with this reverse suplex into what looked to be a Michinoku driver, I guess, or some form of a Falcon Arrow reversed. It was fucking great. But in the end here, we get the distraction. Ambrose had enough. He pulled McIntyre away from the ring, gave him dirty deeds on the concrete. This was more than enough for Rollins to see an opening, but he was distracted by what was going on the outside, which everybody, had to take a deep breath. Oh my God, this is where the fuck up happens. But no, Rollins countered a super kick with a super kick of his own, went for the curb stomp, 1, 2, 3, and it is over. We have a new Intercontinental Champion. The right man won, and now we can move on from Ziggler and McIntyre. Those guys are probably going to break away on their own and do their own thing. Meanwhile, now we're going to focus on Ambrose and Rollins and the heel turn that needs to be. Ambrose is one of several people who need a heel turn on their show. And if you're going to give it to me on Monday night, I will gladly accept it. But it's coming, sooner rather than later. Seth Rollins is your new Intercontinental Champion. Rightfully so. The right man won. Great way to start the show. The focus most of the time was on Dean Ambrose, but it picked up pace towards the end, and we got what was a very good Intercontinental Championship match. Like I said, nowhere close to what these guys did on Monday Night Raw just a couple of weeks back, but still good nonetheless, and definitely made up for their Extreme Rules Iron Man match. So there you go. The Bludgeon Brothers versus the New Day for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. I made mention going into this how I didn't really care to see the New Day win the tag team titles. I don't care about the Bludgeon Brothers. I think a lot of you guys share those same feelings. Why didn't the Bar be placed in this match? Why didn't we get the Bar versus the Bludgeon Brothers? Or why didn't we get a fatal four-way with the Usos and the Bar, with the New Day and the Bludgeon Brothers? That I would have not wanted, because we've seen that way too many times. We've seen that done several times this year. Couldn't be the Bar because the Bar are heels, and the Bar versus the Bludgeon Brothers doesn't really scream to me as exciting. It's one of those matches where I love Sheamus and Cesaro, but if I'm going to choose a match during my evening to go get a beer or do something other than watch wrestling, that would be the match to do so. But the tag team title match here with the New Day and the Bludgeon Brothers doesn't really scream excitement to me either. I don't care for the Bludgeon Brothers. I think they are a team with absolutely no direction right now. I don't feel like they have anything that speaks to me as, hey, we're tag team champions, we're doing something important here. They don't speak to me in that way. And no matter if you put the New Day or the Usos or the Bar or any team, could be anybody, against the Bludgeon Brothers, it's not exciting. WWE even put together Kane and Daniel Bryan for a month against the Bludgeon Brothers, and it still didn't make me excited. And I love Daniel Bryan. But the New Day and the Bludgeon Brothers, this was one of those DQ finishes that I understood, but also really didn't give a shit about. A lot of people were disappointed that the New Day didn't win the tag team championships, but this is just going to tell more of a story going on into SmackDown Live as we get closer to Hell in a Cell. The New Day were on the brink of beating the Bludgeon Brothers. So we get Big E scooping up Harper for midnight hour. It was Woods and Big E. Rowan jumped in with his sledgehammer and knocked Woods off and caused the DQ. Now, I understood why they did this, but at the same time, I'm watching this and I'm like, I have to see this again. These guys didn't really do anything as far as exciting in this match for a tag team title match, and I have to see this again. You know, maybe it's going to be a little bit better on SmackDown Live because New York didn't give a shit about what happened in this match. There was a cool spot. Where Woods, I believe, was going for his elbow drop in the ring. And he leaped off the fucking top turnbuckle onto Luke Harper, and he delivered an elbow drop. It looked like he was a ways away, like on the mat on the outside. Luke Harper was laying on the outside, and Xavier Woods. I love Xavier Woods, man. I think Xavier Woods is a very underrated member of the New Day, but he jumped off the top rope, and he jumped on top of Luke Harper with the elbow drop on the outside, man. I would be shocked if Xavier Woods isn't feeling sore in the morning today. Well, so that was a good spot. But in the end here, we got the Bludgeon Brothers retaining the tag team championships because of their fucking sledgehammers. You know, they're bringing illegal objects to the ring. And now we're starting to see them use those illegal objects, which are part of their character, but they are illegal objects, a little bit more. So I'm waiting for somebody on SmackDown Live's management to say, listen, you know, you can't be bringing the sledgehammers to the ring. And I hope WWE doesn't lock these guys inside a Hell in a Cell because, you know, that's a whole nother story for a completely different day. We don't want to see the New Day and the Bludgeon Brothers recreate what the New Day and the Usos did inside Hell in a Cell. No, I'm sorry. There are times when it's warranted for Hell in a Cell. I doubt they will tell the story where it gets to that point where they need to be locked inside Hell in a Cell for the tag team titles. Move on, have the New Day win, and have some sort of revamp for the tag team division. I'm tired of tag team wrestling on WWE. I can watch tag team wrestling all day long in NXT. I don't know why they can't get with the fucking program. Still, the main roster is still trying to catch up to NXT as far as tag team wrestling goes. The New Day with the DQ. Who cares? Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens. Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens, man. Kevin Owens, he's really making Braun Strowman look like a fucking monster. I hope that there's some bonus coming for Kevin Owens. In the last couple of months, in the last month alone, the guy was thrown off a fucking steel cage through an announcer's table. The guy takes bump after bump after bump from Braun Strowman. He was dumped off the stage in a fucking porta potty with blue dye or ink or whatever the fuck, blue cleaner from the porta potty spilled all over him. You know, the guy is making Braun Strowman look monstrous, but is also being treated like a fucking clown. He's a mid-carder on Monday Night Raw. And Kevin Owens deserves better on Monday Night Raw. I think we can all agree with that. And after last night, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. This is one of those situations where I think WWE made the right decision. I think this was the right decision. We've seen this at Extreme Rules. We've seen this charade and this fucking circus on Monday night. Oh, I'm taking the briefcase. You know, if you get disqualified or counted out, you're going to lose the briefcase. You know, all this fucking shit. They got Jinder Mahal. They got Sunil Singh. They got Kevin Owens running away like a fucking coward with the briefcase. Braun Strowman's looking like a fucking idiot. Enough! Enough! This is not what I look for when I see someone come out calling himself the monster among men. You might as well be the fucking idiot among men at this point. So WWE did the right thing here. Too bad for Kevin Owens that he has to be on the receiving end of a squash. But what else were you going to do in this instance? Literally, he got steamrolled. And Braun Strowman, you know, I know it's mostly Kevin Owens selling for Braun Strowman, but my God, when Braun Strowman steamrolls over Kevin Owens with those shoulder tackles on the outside, does Kevin Owens make Braun Strowman look fucking good? Absolutely. He takes those bumps and embellishes like a fucking monster. So we do that. Back in the ring, before we get back into the ring, Braun Strowman actually chokeslams Kevin Owens on the ramp. And again, I told you, there's got to be some sort of bonus coming for Kevin Owens. That looked fucking brutal. That looked absolutely fucking brutal. He bounced up off the steel. So if Kevin Owens doesn't have some sort of extra incentive coming to him later, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with this guy. After the devastating chokeslam on the ramp, referee's checking on Owens, brings it back into the ring, running power slam. 90 seconds, and it's over. Get these hands. He certainly got these fucking hands, and his hands are still on the Money in the Bank briefcase. So the right man won. It was a right decision, but looking back on it, Kevin Owens isn't really in prime position on Monday Night Raw, which could play a factor into what we talk about in a little bit when Braun Strowman makes an appearance later on in this show. We have Ronda Rousey. Actually, no, I'm skipping ahead here. Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Trash Mella for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. This probably, at this point, was the most entertaining, I would say, situation. Not match. This was the most entertaining situation to have happen up until this point of the show. And this is something that I talked about very, very extensively on my SmackDown Live review and on Off the Script. This match wasn't half bad. It wasn't bad. Carmella, I shit on Carmella way too often. More times than I want to really shit on her. I don't want to shit on anybody, but she leaves me no choice but to shit on her. She's bad. She cannot wrestle. She did not look half bad here. The majority of her time in the ring was a fucking headlock, but she did not look half bad. And the reason why they did the triple threat match is because this match would have been better presented in a triple threat match situation instead of if it was just Becky Lynch and Carmella. And the reason why Charlotte was in this match to begin with is because they are building a bigger story. We all bitched, and I even ranted till I got red in the fucking face how Charlotte can come back and just be thrown into a women's championship match for doing absolutely nothing. Where's Asuka? Why isn't Asuka getting a rematch? Where the fuck is Asuka on SmackDown Live? I asked all these questions. You go have Charlotte beat Asuka for the streak. She loses to Carmella twice. She's off TV for a month and a half to get her breasts fixed, which looked bigger than ever last night. Boy, did they do a good job on that, huh? She's off TV for a month and a half, and Asuka is losing and looks like a fucking dumbass. If you're going to break the streak after 900 days and give it to Charlotte, maybe you should have thought about giving it to Charlotte in the first place. What did it really do for Charlotte? It got her new breast implants, I'll tell you that. Anyway, she should have been the legitimate queen of SmackDown Live. If WWE knew all this in advance, why did they make that decision in April? Looking back on it, Asuka should still be undefeated. When you have Asuka lose to Charlotte and then you turn that around and have Carmella beat Charlotte, I don't want to know who you are anymore. And there are people that actually agreed with this. The fuck are you people smoking? Anyway, Charlotte was in this match because it was going to be a better match with her there compared to if it wasn't with Charlotte. And the greater story here is Charlotte and Becky. That's what we're all watching this match for. And can I say again, can I please tell you and reiterate to you again, Charlotte, no matter how pretty you look, twisting in the air with these fucking moonsaults, a corkscrew moonsault to the outside on both Becky and Carmella. Can we stop this? Can we please end this? She has the worst moonsault in the business. And I will say it time and time again. Charlotte has the worst moonsault in wrestling. When you have to do that and barely graze your opponent on the way down, what is the point of doing the move? I mean, a move like that is a finishing move for some people. Meanwhile, you're doing it, you're twisting in the air, people are, and I'm over here looking, the fuck was that? Is anybody going to get up from that? How do you take damage from that? If you're playing WWE 2K18, you're wasting your fucking momentum bar by doing a moonsault. You're actually injuring yourself more than you are your opponent. Come on now. Cut the shit. She may be the queen of SmackDown Live. Robots don't fly. Robots are supposed to stay grounded. Robots are a little bit more intelligent than that. Please. Enough. Charlotte and Becky is the greater story here. Becky Lynch does an exploder suplex to Trash Mella and gets to disarm her. And Carmella was going to tap. At the end of this thing, everybody's anticipating Becky Lynch winning the title. But WWE did exactly what I said they would do. Charlotte won the Women's Championship. And Charlotte, behind Becky's back, while she had no idea where Charlotte was, with the disarm her applied on Carmella, comes in and gives Becky a natural selection, pins Becky, and wins the fucking title. She pinned Becky Lynch. Is Becky a heel? That's the question. After the match, Becky and Charlotte hug, and then all of a sudden, we hear monstrous yes chants as Becky Lynch is beating the shit out of Charlotte Flair. Is Becky a heel? No. Becky is not a heel. This is where I say WWE took risk, and this is where I say WWE did exactly what they needed to do. They were in the right city, they were in the right situation, and WWE took a chance on having this possibly completely backfire. But Charlotte is a better bitch than she is a babyface. And what happened last night with Charlotte being attacked by Becky, it's not Becky turning heel. It's people wanting to side with Becky now more so than ever because she was cheated. And the fans are going to look at it as if Becky was cheated. You can do all the tea time you want. You can do all the hugging and the smooching and the fucking cringe shit that you do with Becky and Charlotte. Friends forever, best friends, blah, blah, blah. The fans aren't going to see it that way. Becky Lynch is not a heel. This was a heel turn, or the beginnings of one, for Charlotte Flair. And WWE better carefully construct this to where Becky remains a babyface. And they slowly start to push Charlotte towards bitch Charlotte, entitled Charlotte, cocky Charlotte. She needs to start having that inner Ric Flair come out of her again. Because I am the only one who mentioned you need to be thinking about the Survivor Series. And you need to start thinking about what you're doing going into WrestleMania. This is the time now. We're over with SummerSlam. As soon as we get into October, November, WWE needs to start planning for what they're going to be doing in 2019. You're not putting Ronda and Charlotte at WrestleMania, babyface versus babyface. Charlotte needs to be a heel going into that match. Charlotte needs to be a heel going into the Becky Lynch match that I'm expecting to see at Evolution. This was not a heel turn for Becky. This was redemption. This was frustration. And everybody in that arena last night popped so big for Becky's frustration because everyone knows she deserves the title. Everyone knows Charlotte does not deserve the title and or are sick of Charlotte with the title. When you want to talk about Charlotte being the Roman Reigns of the women's division, we mentioned Alexa Bliss being booked like Roman Reigns. Might as well be on Monday Night Raw. Charlotte being booked like Roman Reigns? Absolutely. She is the Roman Reigns of the women's division. Becky Lynch and Charlotte, heel versus babyface at Evolution, and Becky getting her win over Charlotte. That's what I do. That's where I'm going with this. And then Charlotte can go on and win the Royal Rumble and start getting ready for Ronda Rousey. But this was not a heel turn for Becky Lynch in any way whatsoever. This was a heel turn for Charlotte. And I commend WWE for taking a risk and doing something that could easily be misinterpreted as a heel turn for Becky Lynch. But WWE took a chance based on the location of this show, taking a chance on the crowd, sticking with Becky even after this post-match attack, and turning on Charlotte when they shouldn't really be turning on Charlotte because Charlotte didn't do anything wrong. Charlotte played the rules right and won the match within her means. She didn't do anything wrong. The only thing that she did was betray her best friend and pin poor Becky and take Becky's spotlight away. That's all you need for a heel turn. And WWE took a chance in New York on that happening, and it paid off beautifully. You got to give WWE credit for it, man. That was a risk, and it worked. High risk yields high reward. WWE was paid handsomely for that ending sequence. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles. This is one of the two matches I was looking forward to most in SummerSlam. And they did not disappoint. They did not disappoint whatsoever. I was going into this, and I was not going to get ahead of myself and say, you know, what I said with Nakamura Styles at WrestleMania, how we all wanted that. That was a dream match within the WWE walls, and it's finally happening at WrestleMania on a show that it should, it's correlating with, Styles and Nakamura. We all wanted it at WrestleMania on the grand stage, and it did nothing but disappoint. We felt like they were both handcuffed. They didn't do what they, needed to do. They didn't do what we expected them to do. It was a piss poor match. And I felt like, and everybody felt like they were handcuffed. You couldn't do the same thing here with Joe. You couldn't do the same thing here with Styles and Joe. Joe and AJ Styles. I feel like the 3 weeks that we've gotten so far in the build has been fantastic. I do believe that they are kind of fast-tracking this. And I don't know why, but it certainly feels like they are fast-tracking this. It feels like they should be here, yet they're up here already with the storyline after 3 weeks. And then now, especially after this match for the WWE Championship. Samoa Joe is on the microphone as Greg Hamilton is doing the introductions. He takes the microphone from Greg Hamilton. He points out Wendy Styles, and AJ's daughter in the crowd. So his wife and his daughter are in the crowd. We have Samoa Joe telling Wendy not to worry because Daddy is coming home tonight. So AJ then takes the microphone and says his family is here for one reason, to see him, and he said, to see me kick your ass. So I love the little verbal exchange back and forth here between Joe and AJ Styles. One thing I do not like is with a match that is so personal already. Now, you're including his wife and his daughter now in this storyline, right? If I'm going up against a guy who says, Daddy's coming home tonight, or poking fun at my wife, or poking fun at my child, if I'm AJ Styles, and the first thing you're going to do in a match is a fucking headlock, or an arm bar, or in this case, a test of fucking strength. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, those little details are something that I cannot stand. If somebody's making fun of my child and my wife at ringside, and has done so already, time and time again on SmackDown Live, the first thing that you're going to do is a fucking test of strength? It's in my fucking notes! A test of strength! You're not going to go fucking lunge at him. You're not going to fucking take him down to the ground and pound, punch his face in. No, let's do an arm bar. Let's do a fucking wrist lock. Let me take you down and do a Carmella headlock. Get the fuck out of here. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. Anyway, this was a great back and forth match, man. A very, very good back and forth match. I love Joe. Joe, great on the microphone. A lot of people don't think Joe is a worthy WWE champion. A lot of people go back to the fight. Everybody body shaming. Joe's fat. Joe is overweight. Joe doesn't have the look of a WWE champion. I don't know what the fuck you're watching. He certainly has the look of a WWE champion. But Joe is in the wrong place at the wrong time. Honestly, he is. And I said this about Ciampa. The better the heel, the better the babyface. Joe doesn't have anybody to work with outside of AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan on SmackDown Live if he does become the WWE champion. You can't do it. It's physically impossible. There are way more heels than babyfaces on SmackDown Live. You cannot have Joe be the WWE champion when your roster is crowded with heels. It doesn't work that way. Joe is a great heel. Joe would be a great WWE champion. But it's not the right time for him. It's not. And Joe, he did tease the Muscle Buster in this match, just a little bit. I doubt we see it, but he did tease it. AJ Styles got the Styles Clash on him. And I did not know. This was about 75% through the match. Joe is no small man. So Joe was already gassed at this point, which, again, I didn't expect him to be gassed. I was looking at him, and he was legitimately gassed by this point. I figured Joe would be a little bit more conditioned than that. I really haven't seen that part of Joe since he's been in the WWE. It's the first time that it really became noticeable to me. So he did the Styles Clash, did Styles, got him up, and like I said, Joe is no small man. He did not hook both arms. He only hooked one arm, and he dropped him down, which looked, it could have been catastrophic if it not had been done correctly, So he got that. And the other main part of this match, Joe signals for a muscle buster. Like I said, he teased the muscle buster. AJ fights back from the top. Joe jumps up with a enziguri, knocks AJ from the top to the floor. Like I said, he was about to tease the muscle buster. AJ lands hard. And AJ was busted open. I don't know if it was on that or something else in the match. I didn't really catch where AJ Styles got busted open, but he was busted open pretty bad. So Joe follows and sends AJ face first into the steel steps. I think that is the part that might have done it and busted open AJ, but I don't really know exactly what point in that spot it happened. So Joe throws Styles into the steel steps. Joe stands on top of the German announce table and takes a microphone, and he addresses AJ's wife and says, "Daddy AJ won't be coming home, but Wendy is going to have a new daddy." Oh my God, man. Joe is fucking classic. Joe and Ciampa, man, are both national treasures. Absolutely fantastic. AJ stands up. He's furious. He finally, Daddy's not coming home to start the match. Yeah, let's do a test of strength, a Greco-Roman knuckle lock. And now AJ hears that, Wendy's going to have a new daddy. Now that really got him pissed off. That's the one thing that finally said, you know what? Let me go fucking kick this guy's ass. AJ charges Joe, knocks him off the announce table, through the barrier. This was fucking chaotic at the timekeeper's area. AJ snaps, takes out two WWE staff guys. Referee rings the bell. It's over. Disqualification. Joe wins by DQ because of AJ's frustration. Okay. I don't mind the ending. I don't mind the ending at all. It keeps Joe looking a beast, and it keeps Styles with the WWE Championship, and now he is more furious than ever. We equaled each other out here. Both men got what they needed from this DQ. Most of the time, I know everybody's disappointed, including me. It's hard to be excited fully about this situation because of how it ended. But you got to look at it from how I'm seeing it. They needed this to continue. A fuck finish like this was beautifully done. Now it gets them inside Hell in a Cell. Now it gets them to Hell in a Cell. I don't like the fact that this was used as a precursor or a stepping stone to get them inside Hell in a Cell, but what are you going to do? You can't have everything you want, okay? When we get to Hell in a Cell, WWE with these dual-branded pay-per-views, man, I don't know how many Hell in a Cell matches we're going to get. I don't know how many WWE are planning on giving us. If this is WWE, the entire fucking show would be filled with 9 Hell in a Cell matches. Then I'd have a fucking aneurysm, just based on the sight of 9 Hell in a Cell matches. Hell in a Cell is a dead concept. I hate the fucking fact that we're still naming these after gimmick pay-per-views. I've said for the longest, end them. These gimmick shows need to go away. You know how ridiculous it is that the word hell is in the title? Well, let's put it around October time. October, Halloween, hell. It all goes hand in hand. That's the way WWE thinks. That's the way the WWE goons think. Now, what I'm thinking is, I don't want to see a fucking gimmick match just because it's the certain month in which you have this pay-per-view happen. Come on now. A Hell in a Cell should go away for a very long time and be brought back when the feud is warranted to be a Hell in a Cell or include a Hell in a Cell. Samoa Joe and AJ Styles is the only thing right now on WWE television that would even warrant a Hell in a Cell. And we have 4 weeks now to build that story as to why they need to be locked inside Hell in a Cell. But that's the only match that I want to see inside Hell in a Cell. I don't know if WWE is going to go that route, but there's no other match on Monday Night Raw that deserves to be in Hell in a Cell. What are you going to do? You're going to put Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler inside Hell in a Cell? Why? Because it looks cool? What are you going to put Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley inside Hell in a Cell? Why? Because it looks fucking cool? And another notch on Roman's fucking resume? Come on, man. It's going to get them to Hell in a Cell, and it's the only match that warrants a Hell in a Cell at this point. This ending was beautifully done. It needed to happen. And this is why I said in the beginning, WWE did things tonight that they needed to do, and this is one of them. I thought this was great. This was a great match. I'm looking forward to the back and forth between these two now. AJ's furious. Samoa Joe's going to keep digging and digging and digging at personal shit on Styles. I love it. That's what a great heel does. He's gotten underneath the skin of AJ Styles, and now we're going to see it turned up to the next level. We got 4 weeks. They are going to sell me on 4 weeks, and we're going to be more excited about what they do inside Hell in a Cell than what we seen tonight, or last night rather, at SummerSlam. Great stuff. Probably my favorite match on the show up until this point. When you talk about wastes of time, Elias was a complete waste of time. This entire SummerSlam weekend was a complete waste of time for Elias. WWE announced him at the Gramercy Theater in New York City, delivering a solo concert, conveniently canceled. I don't know what the reason was. I'm hearing low ticket sales. Some people are even saying that WWE didn't even plan to have Elias go out there, that it was all used, and the Gramercy Theater was used for a storyline to have whatever happened last night happen. Now, WWE pulled Elias from the Gramercy Theater. They wanted him to perform on SummerSlam's grandest stage. He gets up on stage, he does his shtick, says how much New York is a gutter town and a garbage town. Same old shit. He goes to strum his guitar, and the neck of the guitar breaks off, and he's sitting there with a necklace guitar. And that was pretty much it. Nobody else came out. Everybody was expecting him to come out later and give me another report, give us, not just me, give everybody another performance. People were saying, oh, The Rock is coming, Dwayne Johnson's here, no Bobby Lashley, nothing. We didn't even see Elias. This was it for Elias. He broke his neck on the guitar and then went away. And that was it. This was a complete waste of everybody's time. And now it's beginning to get to a point where, it's becoming frustrating because he's a character that we want to see, and we want to kind of see it take another step up on that character development level. This is now becoming stagnant and boring for Elias. I want to see him do more than shit on every city he's in. I want to see him do more than strum the same fucking note every single week. I want to start seeing him win some championships. I want to start seeing him with some Intercontinental Championship gold around his waist, or on SmackDown with a U.S. Championship. This guitar shit and these solo performances that go horribly wrong, or whoever's going to come out and distract him and fuck him up, cut him off, it's got to end. This is not entertaining anymore. I found absolutely nothing entertaining about this with Elias last night. A complete waste of everybody's time. The Miz versus Daniel Bryan. This was the other match that I was looking forward to. And they did not disappoint. I'll tell you who did disappoint me, though. New York City. They were absolutely fucking dead for this match. Dead! I don't know why. It was as if New York City went on fucking vacation and partied their fucking hearts out and came back and looked like fucking zombies. This was ridiculous. This is why I said you could imagine how it would be if The Miz and Bryan were to open hot on SummerSlam and then put Rollins and Ziggler in this spot. How it would be. I honestly think that would have been a much better match order. But that's just me. This feud has been building for 8 years. We all know Daniel Bryan and the contract situation. He is signed. We don't know how long. His lawyers are looking it over. He did mention on Sam Roberts that he's pretty much going to re-sign with the WWE, or it's most likely that he will sign with the WWE. WWE ain't letting him go. You got to be out of your fucking mind to think Daniel Bryan's going anywhere. This match was a very, very good match. I mentioned one or two different times how I've enjoyed The Miz more in 2018 than I've enjoyed The Miz in any other time in his WWE run. His matches with Rollins, Miz has had it's like second nature to him to open a show. The Miz has been in some damn good fucking matches. Triple threat match at WrestleMania with Rollins and Balor. That match with Rollins, oh my goodness. Match with Hardy on SmackDown Live. The Miz has put on some of his best matches in 2018. The match with Bryan last night was not bad at all. It was a great stepping stone. But with the crowd reaction that they got last night, it really hindered the match on being great. It was a good match. It was a solid match. If I was to book the match out of 10, I'd give it a 7. And the crowd really hindered that from being an 8 or a 9. Truthfully. But this feud has been building for 8 years, and I mentioned that The Miz needs to win here. And I mentioned The Miz winning because with The Miz beating Daniel Bryan, it warrants him a shot at AJ Styles. Now, he beat Bryan. He beat Daniel Bryan. By cheating? Yes, but he beat Daniel Bryan. Referee didn't see it. So if the referee didn't see it, it's legal. Right? It's the way The Miz is. I did make mention that I want The Miz to be a more straightforward heel and win because he is that good. I don't want him to resort to cheating. But with Daniel Bryan, I guess it's okay. You're not going to beat Daniel Bryan clean. I mean, imagine if he did beat Daniel Bryan clean, what it would have done for The Miz. But he beat Daniel Bryan anyway. What happened last night and the outcome of last night warrants The Miz to come out and say, listen, I beat Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is no pushover. I deserve a shot at AJ Styles in the WWE Championship. Have The Miz beat AJ Styles. I would not have Bryan and Miz fight again until their final encounter. I do tag team matches. I do the way of The Miz now being cowardly and avoiding Daniel Bryan by any means because he doesn't want to get his ass kicked. Bryan is frustrated. Bryan is upset. Bryan is upset with himself that he failed. He's going to come back even harder. His determination to get his hands on The Miz now are going to be more so than it ever was before, just based on the outcome of last night's match. The Miz is guaranteed now a WWE Championship match in anybody's eyes. He beat Daniel Bryan. The Miz wins the WWE Championship. There are many heels on SmackDown Live that could be perfect to take the title off of AJ Styles. Randy Orton, Andrade Cien Almas, the Samoa Joe. But The Miz, I think, fits into that better now because it overall tells the greatest story to be told. Not only did The Miz beat Daniel Bryan, and now Daniel Bryan is frustrated, but The Miz has proved that he's better than Daniel Bryan by being the WWE Champion. Look at me and look at where you are. Go back to your gyms. Go back to your bingo halls. I'm the WWE Champion, and Bryan's story is going to be one of redemption and retribution. The Miz is going to avoid Bryan at all costs. You can't avoid Daniel Bryan when he wins the Royal Rumble. So when The Miz has that glaring in his face, that Bryan is going to go into the Royal Rumble, and it's the only way for him to get his hands on The Miz, and he wins, there's no avoiding Daniel Bryan anymore. You're destined to meet him at WrestleMania in the main event. The next WWE Championship match at WrestleMania is going to be Daniel Bryan and The Miz. That's the way I do it. And being that Daniel Bryan lasted an hour and 6 minutes, or however long he lasted in the Greatest Royal Rumble, have Daniel Bryan and make a storyline develop where Bryan comes in at number 1, and he wins the fucking Rumble from number 1, and you put anybody in his way, you give him the most epic elimination of all time at the end for him to win that Royal Rumble. And Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble, and he goes on to The Miz at WrestleMania and wins the WWE Championship. And that is the culmination of your story. Then by that time, you'll have Almas ready, you'll have Orton ready, and Daniel Bryan, you could do Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. Daniel Bryan will not have a shortage of opponents after that. But the greatest story to be told is that exactly how I lined it up for you. And it all started last night. Even with the dead crowd, I loved the ending. And it was only a matter of time before their wives got involved. Maurice was sitting at ringside. And Daniel Bryan was kicking and kicking and kicking. And he kicks The Miz into the barrier and runs the ropes for a suicide dive. So The Miz, before the suicide dive happened, is hanging over the barricade in front of his wife. His wife is caressing his face. Honey, are you okay? You know, making sure he's all right. We all seen her slip him something. And it was shown on the replay. They played it in very slow motion. She slipped him something. Now, I'm assuming it was brass knuckles. I think it was brass knuckles. But some sort of foreign object. When Miz was getting up and trying to get back into the ring, Daniel Bryan was going to do his signature suicide dive that I love that he does. He was going to run through the ropes, and The Miz took the foreign object, which I believe was brass knuckles, punched him as he went headfirst through the ropes, knocked him out, and covered him for the win. All behind the referee's back. The referee did not see anything. The Miz wins. He beats Bryan. All is good in the world, and we are off to the races with this storyline. Daniel Bryan mentioned on SmackDown Live that he wants The Miz over on SmackDown Live because it's been a long time since he's wanted to punch The Miz directly in the face. What Karma did last night to Daniel Bryan is say, bro, you ain't getting yours just yet, so watch your words. Bryan's words, he ended up beating him at SummerSlam, because how did The Miz beat Daniel Bryan? With a punch to the face. I love it. I think it's great. WWE has a storyline that could carry SmackDown Live for months. Play it right. This was another one of those decisions that WWE needed, and they executed and delivered. The Miz beats Daniel Bryan in a great match, minus the dead crowd. Fuck you, New York. But I don't know. People are telling me that this is going to go into Hell in a Cell and they're going to have another match and Bryan's going to win. Why? Why are you going to give Bryan a win over The Miz? That fucks up everything. If Bryan beats The Miz, then The Miz doesn't deserve a title shot. At all. Keep it the way it is. Miz has his win now. He don't have anything else to prove in his eyes. Miz moves on, becomes WWE Champion. That is the next layer to this cake that is Miz and Daniel Bryan. Constable Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor. Holy shit. I heard rumors of it. I didn't want to see it because it didn't make any sense. And then the rumors actually became a reality. This match was 90 fucking seconds. 90 fucking seconds. We all knew that Finn Balor was stale, formulaic. He is a walking toothpaste ad. He is a walking dental poster. He is Finn Balor, the ballless wonder. Somewhere along the way, between NXT, his call-up in NXT, and WWE, Balor has lost his balls. My God, did he find them in the streets of New York? Because Balor last night found his manhood again. The Demon King surfaced again in New York City. And we haven't seen the Demon King since TLC 2017. Now, I question to everybody, we all wanted the Demon to come back at WrestleMania. Instead, Balor comes out wearing a colorful looking t-shirt, and according to everybody, Balor is for everyone. Blow me. If there was a situation to come out at WrestleMania, you're going to do the Demon. I don't give a fuck if you're going to lose. I don't give a shit what happens in the outcome. The Demon is WrestleMania. But WWE wants to keep the Demon undefeated, apparently. So WWE decides, of all nights, that the Demon is worthy for a 90-second match to SummerSlam and Baron Corbin. I scratch my head still over this decision. I understand WWE gave us this match at Extreme Rules. I understand they gave us this match on Monday Night Raw. A 20-minute match, mind you, for Baron Corbin and Finn Balor. I really don't want to see Baron Corbin wrestling 10 minutes, let alone 20. But 20 minutes on Monday Night Raw. So what's going to happen? How can you do it differently? You know, how are you gonna make it more exciting and entertaining with, you know, the vanilla midget, right? Popping his collar on his leather jacket and smiling all the way to the ring. Doesn't really excite me. Doesn't really speak to me as being SummerSlam. So let's do the Demon. The Demon's worth 90 seconds. I hope whoever it was his artist. I'm wondering whoever did the fucking paint, the body paint for this guy, got handsomely rewarded by the end of the evening. I don't want to know how long it took, but for 90 seconds, all that work for the Demon, I could see anybody feeling it would be a complete waste of time. Not really how I would have reintroduced the Demon, but I guess WWE needed to add a nice little sprinkle of different here. And it came at the cost of the Demon. So this was a legitimate squash. A wrecking ball dropkick, a sling blade, and then a coup de grace. And it was all over. The Demon comes back. He wins in 90 seconds. He remains undefeated. But for what? For what? Finn Balor, I am sure, by the end of Monday Night Raw, will have lost his balls and they will have rolled into a gutter somewhere, never to be seen again until New York City has SummerSlam again, whenever that may be. I don't know. Finn Balor wins, and he hits the coup de grace on Baron Corbin. Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura. United States Championship match. This one, I don't know, man. By this time, I was really out of it. I didn't even give a shit at this point. I didn't. I don't know what it is, man. This match had so much promise. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't entertaining. It wasn't entertaining. We were all wondering, is Randy Orton coming out? Where's Randy Orton? What's Randy Orton's role in this match going to be? How is he going to defame Jeff Hardy here in New York City? That's all I cared about. Randy Orton is playing such a good character now that everything that we're seeing with Jeff Hardy and Nakamura is second fiddle. Seriously. That's how good Randy Orton's been. This was a very short match, man. I don't even know if it went 10 minutes or so. But it wasn't entertaining to me whatsoever. You know, Hardy has been claiming that, oh, my neck is hurt. I got nerve damage. I got neck issues. I got back issues. I need to take a break. And meanwhile, all this shit is being said about how hurt he is. And the guy is doing swanton bombs on ring aprons and missing. If you're doing that, attempting that, planning that, you can't be that fucking hurt. And if you are hurt, why are you doing swanton bombs on the ring apron? You know, he said he limited the swanton bomb usage at house shows and wants to do it only in important moments. Was it that much of an important moment to risk more further injury? Come on, man. In the end here, Shinsuke Nakamura kicks him across the back of the neck. Nakamura waits for Hardy to get up. Kinshasa for the win. And that was it. After that apron swanton bomb, that was pretty much it. The writing was on the wall for Jeff Hardy at that point. Shinsuke Nakamura wins, and Shinsuke Nakamura quickly disappeared. Randy Orton's music came out. Or Randy Orton's music hit, and Randy Orton came out. Jeff Hardy was in the ring laying out after the Kinshasa. Walks down the ramp halfway with his music going off. Decides, enough for me, man. I got paid. That was it. You want me to walk? You want me to continue walking down the ramp? It's going to cost you another $400,000. Randy Orton got his SummerSlam payday. Walked down half the ramp. Has his theme music go off. Walks to the back. Good night. Meet me at the hotel room, honey. I'll show you a good evening. I'll show you what it means to shake my hand, honey. You know? I don't know. That was it. Shinsuke Nakamura wins. Jeff Hardy comes out, does nothing. I don't really know what that was for. I guess Randy Orton just teased the crowd. You ain't getting me, motherfucker. You want to see me? You ain't getting me. Go fuck yourself. That's exactly what I gathered from that. Nakamura wins here. Kinshasa, Jeff Hardy, where they go from here, I don't know. Where they go with Nakamura, I don't know. Obviously, Hardy and Orton is going to continue in some sense. Moving on to Hell in a Cell, I don't know in what capacity, but the United States Championship, to me, I feel like they fucked up with Nakamura big time, man. I really do. They didn't pull the trigger on Nakamura right, and he's been suffering. He has been suffering since his call up to the main roster, man. I don't know where he goes from here, but I'm not really enjoying his run as the United States champion right now. I actually think it's holding him back. Ronda Rousey and Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. The Bella Twins conveniently sitting front row for this match because they want to see this historic possibility of Ronda Rousey winning the Raw Women's Championship. Please, hand me the bleach. Hand me the noose. I'll bleach myself and then hang myself consecutively, back to back. Nikki Bella and Ronda Rousey, rather. Alexa Bliss and Trish Stratus is another fucking story. Political garbage. Should be Sasha Banks in that role. Ronda Rousey and Nikki Bella rumored for the Evolution pay-per-view. Good luck. I tip my cap to you, sir. Good luck on selling anything for that show. And if you go to that show based on the announcement of that match, you are a complete fucking fool. That does not speak to me as a main event. Nikki Bella and Brie Bella should stay retired. Go do your reality shows. Go break up and get back to, with John Cena 4 or 5 different fucking times already because you love the tabloid coverage. TMZ's picking up on the story every fucking week, right? Go make another baby with Daniel Bryan, Brie Bella. Please stay out of the ring. Stay out of the ring. Stay in your reality world, okay? Your fake reality TV. That's where you belong. Nikki Bella and Ronda Rousey in a match is pathetic. This is what you're doing with Ronda Rousey. And I am sure I will be talking about this more and more and more. Everybody wants Dave Meltzer, to go away, right? Oh, Meltzer sucks. Meltzer is a fraud. Meltzer is fake news. Meltzer reported that it's heavily being discussed about Nikki Bella and Ronda Rousey. And the fact that they teased the fuck out of this shit with having them ringside doesn't make me fucking good. It doesn't make me feel good. We cannot have this match main event Evolution. That is not what I look for when I look at the term and the definition of evolution. You're de-evolving at that point. You want the women's division to be taken seriously? Then book Ronda with a legitimate opponent. You want it to be taken as a joke? You're mixing the most legit athlete you have in this division with reality TV trash. Nikki Bella's not that bad in the ring. She's gotten a lot better from the days of the Bella Twins in the Divas division. But give me a fucking break. This is not an evolution. This is fucking terrible. Of all the people that you have on that roster, you're going to book Nikki Bella and Ronda Rousey? If WWE is smart, they would book Ronda to pick her own opponent for Evolution. And there's only one name that comes to mind after what happened last week. She's going to do it for Natty. I respect you so much. This is our first show ever for the women in this company on pay-per-view. An all-women show. I want my opponent. I want to choose my opponent. And there's no better deserving woman right now after what you've done for this Evolution, for this division, than Natty. That's it. I don't want to hear anybody else. I don't want to hear anybody else going up against Ronda Rousey on Monday Night Raw. Natty is the one. At this point, with her father passing away, that is how you're going to book this match, and that's your main event. Simple. Natty actually came out with Ronda wearing her father's jacket from the Hart Foundation days. I believe it was the same jacket. I think they made mention of it on commentary. The same jacket that Neidhart wore during the SummerSlam match against Demolition and the Hart Foundation. That's pretty fucking cool to think about, man. That is fucking awesome. Love it. We talk about WWE doing the right thing. We talk about WWE executing the exact thing that needed to happen. You look no further than this match. You look no further than this match. This was brilliant. This is exactly what needed to be done. This is the right outcome. Goodbye, Alexa Bliss. You are not getting a rematch here. You're done. You're over. The experiment is gone. You played your role. You did your job. Ronda is the champion. Simple. I'm over it. Now we have a legitimate Raw Women's Champion. Will she be on TV every week? That remains to be seen. Regardless, Ronda Rousey won the match. She is the absolute 100% personification right for this situation, and that's it. I have nothing more to say about it. After the match, Natty hugged. The Bella twins were in the ring, please. I had to cover my eyes because of the fucking levels of cringe in front of me. And she goes to make out with Travis Brown, who's at ringside. She did it for Roddy. She did it for Roddy. It was a good moment. You know, Ronda is beloved by all, man. Ronda is very likable. And the reason why we like Ronda, you know, we get on her for smiling, and we get on her for smiling a little bit too much when she shouldn't be smiling. But we like Ronda so much because of the smiling. She smiles because she's a fan. She smiles because this is where she legitimately wants to be. She loves wrestling, and you see that emanate from her. And I loved everything about this match. The cowardism of Alexa Bliss, from running away to being afraid to get into the ring, to the point where Ronda sat Aleister Black style in the middle of the ring and gave Alexa a free shot. There was legitimately, I loved whoever booked this match and produced this match. It was beautiful, man. There was nothing that Alexa Bliss could do to Ronda Rousey to make me believe anything is going to work. And when Ronda had her back turned and pretty much said, come at me, I'm giving you me, take a free shot. The one thing Alexa Bliss goes for is the weakest looking fucking headlock, man. It was like fucking poetry in motion. I make fun of Alexa Bliss for not wrestling or being a shitty wrestler, and Ronda Rousey is giving you herself and a free shot, a free pass. Come at me, you know? And she goes right for a fucking headlock. You couldn't fucking script that any better. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Ronda Rousey wins, does the double jointed shit with Alexa Bliss's arm, turns her arm inside out, and Ronda Rousey finally puts to rest the reign of terror of Alexa Bliss, the new Raw Women's Champion, Ronda Rousey. Beautiful stuff, man. Absolutely beautiful stuff. We go from beautiful to the inevitable. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, main event for the Universal Championship. I want to say that I'm not even going to review this match. There's no point in me nothing happened. Nothing happened here. You want my thought on this? I will say this. I expect the WWE to do no different than what we've seen at the Greatest Royal Rumble. I expect the WWE to do no different than what we've seen at WrestleMania. WWE was anticipating a shit show. Roman Reigns got booed out of the building, of course. He's not over. Roman Reigns is not over, people. Comes out to a chorus of fucking boos. And I'm legitimately thinking WWE is going to have this match hijacked again. Roman Reigns is introduced. Brock Lesnar is introduced. And then Braun Strowman comes down. Braun Strowman comes down with the briefcase, and he gets in the ring. Nobody knew if he was going to cash in there and make it a triple threat match or what this guy was going to say. But finally, we seen the briefcase present itself in Roman and Lesnar's story. Because that's what we were all looking for. I mentioned going into this match, there's two ways to end this. Two ways to end this. It cannot be what we seen at WrestleMania. If you give me a 20-minute match, this is going to go to fucking garbage. It's going to be destroyed in the crowd. It's not going to want to be sitting there after 6 hours and then see a 20-minute match with two guys that they don't want to see. WWE had one of two choices here. Either Lesnar wins quick or Roman wins quick. They obviously went with Roman. But Braun Strowman standing on the outside. You know, Braun Strowman was never meant to cash in last night. WWE wanted to tell this story. Vince McMahon wanted to pitch a fucking hard-on in his $5,000 suit last night, and that's exactly what he did. Vince McMahon finally busted a nut. Seriously, and I don't want to, take the immature, description of this situation, but that's exactly what happened. Vince McMahon finally busted a nut after a backlog of getting fucking blue balls. He blue balled us. He gave himself blue balls. All these months, and finally, he released that big load. Finally, he feels good. He's smoking his cigar. He's got his feet pitched up. He's sitting in his fucking robe. Finally. Hand me some more champagne, Kevin Dunn. Do you want some wood chips with that, Vince? That's what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. Vince is on top of the world now. Roman is the new Universal Champion. But you think that Braun Strowman was going to cash in last night. Do you know why Braun Strowman was there last night? He wasn't there to cash in. He wasn't there to dominate Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns. Braun Strowman was strategically placed there. Because with Strowman there, it was going to... And everybody is a fucking programmed fool. They are so brainwashed. I'm watching this and I'm like, you people don't see what they're doing here. Strowman is there to stop the fucking bullshit, to stop the hijacking that was almost inevitable. They didn't use they used Strowman as a puppet. Strowman was a puppet. And then he got involved in the match. Roman Reigns flies on top of Braun Strowman accidentally, takes out Braun Strowman. People wondering, is he going to cash in now? He got involved accidentally. Brock Lesnar then takes the briefcase and starts hitting Braun Strowman with it. Throws it somewhere. I don't know where the fucking thing went. He should be playing right field for the fucking Yankees with his arm. Braun Strowman after that wasn't even a factor. Wasn't even a factor. He was there as a plant. You talk about Roman having plant fans in the crowd. Braun Strowman was the biggest plant of them all. Because he was placed there strategically, because with him there, it was going to be a shield, a barrier against the hate that was inevitably going to be in this match. The hijacking that it was going to be. And when Roman won the championship, nobody cared. People left. And it was, okay, it's over. The nightmare is over. We can finally rest easy now. The dark spirits that have been haunting us for the last 4 years have finally been exorcised. Zach Bagans would be proud. This is the greatest ghost hunting fucking evidence that there is. You know? Roman Reigns has been fucking haunting us for 4 years, and those demons just lifted into the air. Done. No more shall we be haunted. Braun Strowman was there as a plant, people. Do not believe he was cashing in. Now, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Braun Strowman in the cash in. The end of this match was completely... it was laughable. It was downright laughable. One spear. By the start of this match, the way it started, we seen... The start of this match was actually the ending of their WrestleMania 31 match. Superman punch. Brock Lesnar was reeling on the ropes. He was only being held up by the ropes. The same way that they closed that match before Rollins cashed in, they started this match. So even that wasn't anything new. And we got no Lesnar turn last night. We got no note, no mention of the note, or no note was being passed. No Usos, no Samoan, right? This was downright embarrassing. The ending was embarrassing. So Lesnar tosses Reigns back into the ring. Lesnar grabs Braun's briefcase. Braun grabs his ankle because he doesn't allow Brock to get back into the ring. Lesnar slams the briefcase into Braun a few times. He fucking chucks the briefcase somewhere up the ramp. Lesnar smacks Braun with a steel chair on the floor. Lesnar starts yelling at Braun. Braun is down, crawling away. Like I said, he was the biggest plant of them all. Lesnar returns to the ring with the steel chair. Nails a spear, does Reigns, out of nowhere, with the chair landing on Lesnar's face, and that was it. One spear. The spear to conquer them all. Slays the beast. Absolutely the most anticlimactic SummerSlam ending I think I have ever seen in the grand history of this event. It's over. Braun Strowman cashed in, right? Nah. I don't know when he's cashing in. I would have done it completely opposite. I would have had... Actually, if WWE does the cash in tonight, I think that would probably be better. Because people are now expecting a cash in now because Braun got involved. So Braun's obviously going to show himself on Monday Night Raw and tease a cash in. I hope that WWE does the cash in. But after all of this, they finally got their man as the Universal Champion. Do you see WWE so quickly taking the title off Roman Reigns? I don't know. At this point, I don't care. I don't care. Roman Reigns is another segment that we're not going to watch on Monday Night Raw and care about. He's going to blend right into the fucking show. He's going to blend into the unimportance of Monday Night Raw, just like everything else on that show being unimportant. Now, what I don't want to have happen, and we're going to go back a few matches, Braun Strowman squashed Kevin Owens. Is Kevin Owens going to fuck over Braun Strowman and fuck up the cash-in while Roman retains? I mean, there's got to be an end to Kevin Owens after all of this. Is the end him fucking Braun over in the end with the briefcase after what he did? Because if that is the end of this thing with Kevin Owens, somebody's got to be fired. That is just god-awful. A squash match in 2 minutes for Kevin Owens doesn't really scream to me as, hey, look at me. I'm important. Is he going to fuck over Braun Strowman? I don't know. I think everybody's anticipating a cash-in tonight. I think we get a cash-in, and I think something goes horribly wrong. But WWE taking the title off Roman now after everything finally culminated last night, I can't see it. I don't know. I want it to happen. I don't think Roman deserves the championship, period. Strowman is the guy that everybody wants. Strowman was there planted so that you don't shit on the match. That's all. That's the only reason why he was there. There was no sign or they didn't have any plan of a cash-in. Vince got one over on everybody. Strowman was there. You want to boo the fucking match? Let me see you boo the fucking match with a cash-in. He got one over on us. But he was a plant. He was the biggest plant of them all. Don't be fooled. Roman is your new champion, and SummerSlam went off the air in the most unexciting way that they could have done it. So that was that. SummerSlam is in the books, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for waiting up for me to do the review. I hope I entertained you. I hope I brought some logic to you. I hope you enjoyed it and got a lot out of it, because I'm fucking exhausted from this weekend. I don't know what I'm going to do till Monday Night Raw, but I'll see you guys tonight for sure. I'm doing the review tonight. It'll be up later on after the show is over. But thank you guys so much for everything. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody that came out to meet me at 4th Avenue Pub, and then yesterday at 205th with Justin LeBar. Thank you to Justin. Thank you to Ticket Drew. Thank you to Miss Demon Diva, Issa. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody that I spent the weekend with. You made it a memorable one as always, and I can't wait to do it again next year for SummerSlam, depending on where that is. Thank you all so very much, man. Remember, follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for notifications. Let's do 96 and beyond, man. I got Atlantic City and the Standalone Wrestling Convention on Saturday, this coming Saturday. So if you guys are going to be down there, I'll meet you down there. And then the week after that, Chicago for All In. Thank you guys so very much. I'll see you for Monday Night Raw. Hit that thumbs up on the review. And we'll talk more this SummerSlam weekend with Monday Night Raw. Will there be a cash-in? I don't know. We'll see what happens with Braun Strowman tonight on Monday Night Raw, guys. I'll talk to you later.